morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. Board Game Smorgasbord. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
You got. I'm Z Garcia. Good morning.
You know what?
Yes.
This literally feels like a Friday.
It does.
All day long I felt like it was Friday, like I woke up Friday. It's not Friday.
Because you're not coming to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I am taking tomorrow. I'm taking a day off.
So next Friday.
I might come in tomorrow morning, actually. We'll see.
That's the question, Tom. Next Friday, you're not here.
No, this Friday. Yes.
Next Friday is not tomorrow.
I'm going to the fair with my kids so they can ride the rides. I will watch them ride the rides, and I will eat that roasted corn on the cob. I'm looking so forward to that.
Some elephant ears.
I do like elephant ears.
They're delicious.
But
That's the best part of the elephant.
Well, tender part of the
in Miami, elephant ears is different than the rest of the world. Should probably clarify it's not, just in case.
It's not a real elephant, and it's not really its ear.
No.
What do they call it? What else do they call them?
They're almost like funnel cakes, but
It is a funnel cake, but some places call them something else. They don't even call them elephant ears here.
No.
I call them elephant ears, but
Maybe that's an old name for that thing.
Yeah, whatever it is now.
It's a funnel cake type.
Yeah, basically.
doughy.
I always get it with the powdered sugar and the M&Ms.
What?
Yes,
You put M&Ms on those?
they do.
Sounds awful, I have
It's
to tell you.
amazing.
How about some Nutella? Spread some
Nutella
Nutella
would
on
be
there.
good.
Ooh.
Right?
They also make the
Yeah.
one with the cherries on it, which I like that too.
Cherries.
Oh, okay.
But that's messy.
How come they've
They're
never
all
made
messy, Tom.
Nutella M&Ms? That seems like a match made in heaven.
Maybe they've made them overseas, and we just haven't had the pleasure.
Those two should work together, I'm just saying.
Two great tastes taste great together.
Before we get too caught up in food, which is not our top three today, by the way, we have a contest for you here. So this is from Bezier Games. Bezier Games sponsoring this episode. Sink or swim. You may have heard us talk about this because we sank when we played it. That's for sure.
Yes, we did.
Anyway, it's a real-time game, and it's a real-time cooperative game where we're all trying to sync up. And as you can tell, we're like really good at that, and yet still.
Yes. We couldn't do it.
So I want you to keep Sink and Swim in mind because the subject for this, to enter this contest, which is not for Sink or Swim, it's for silver, but the subject is swim. Email us at contest@dicetower.com. Put swim in your subject to win a copy of Silver, which is a werewolf themed game in which you're putting an array of cards in front of you. And you need to put what is hidden in the artwork for every card except the villagers.
What is hidden
On
in the
every
artwork?
artwork except for the villagers.
I bet I may have said it. I don't know.
Could it possibly be a donkey?
I love what the elephant ears are called in Canada. Apparently beaver tails. That's a perfect name for them. They look like beaver tails.
Yeah, it's a big flat, like,
paddle-y type looking thing.
It's like a paddle. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Beaver
Also,
tails.
if you said,
I love
do you
that.
want to eat an elephant ear for real, I would hesitate. A beaver tail, I'd be like, is that edible?
You're like, is it gummy?
Is it delicious?
Wouldn't it be great if beaver tails were gummies?
All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks to
wouldn't be
Bezier
many
Games.
beavers
Enter
left,
that
though.
contest. You could win a copy of the game.
Yes.
Silver. Hey, so today we have a top 5 going up later on today. Not a live top 10, but we are premiering it. So you can still go in and chat with your friends. And that's going to be the top 5 things we're tired of, which was recorded at Dice Tower West.
Spicy.
My voice is 50% in that video.
Yeah, it's about 90 now, probably.
I don't know, maybe.
80.
I'm going to quit smoking soon.
That's what it is, Tom.
You need some beaver tails.
That's right.
That'll help.
You know, I'm definitely eating one now tomorrow.
Well, sure.
A beaver
The
tail?
thing that I am no longer tricked by, though, is the vast amount of fried food.
Yeah.
You can get one thing, and then you're done.
Just if you're going to do that, just do the fried stick of butter. Just go all in.
I've never done that, actually.
I would not do that.
They actually do that, right?
I believe
In some
they do
places.
actually.
Yeah,
do
fried
that,
butter and fried Oreos.
Do they take the butter and like bread it and fry it?
I've never had
think
it, so
so.
I don't know.
That sounds awful.
It sounds
it's
like
just like it melts
dangerous.
butter inside of its own sort of encased
That actually sounds
container.
amazing, so I would do it.
Sounds horrid.
The thing I like is I like fried pickles, but only if they are the pickle spear.
Okay.
Those are really good.
I've only had fried pickle chips.
If you get more pickle this way. Fried
pickle.
mushrooms are amazing. And fried cauliflower.
But you can get fried mushrooms anywhere.
Fried green tomatoes.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
I beg to
Well,
differ.
that's true,
It's a
I suppose.
rarity these days.
Can work with fried green tomatoes. That's good. I like that.
That can work with fried chicken.
I get fried. I like just take some batter and fry.
Hush puppies.
That's terrible.
That's what it
That
is.
is what a hush puppy is. You're right. All right, folks. Well, that's enough of our nonsense. We're gonna get started now with the news. You know, we were talking yesterday because I got the Asmodee sell sheets.
Okay.
And Asmodee does not. People think Asmodee owns everything, and they own a lot of big name games. They don't come out with as many games per month as you might think.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm saying that because we have Asmodee news.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a new branch of Asmodee called Office Dog, which I don't think is a particularly good board game company name.
Are we sure that's what it is? Is it a board game company?
It just looks more like a tech company. No, it is a board game company, yeah.
Well,
Office Dog.
it's a board game design group.
That logo looks like they offer websites.
Yeah, it looks like a tech group, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Office
I
Dog
don't-
is where I get my domain.
Oh.
That's what it looks
It
like,
does,
right?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, this was formed in May last year to do ludological matchmaking between the many IPs and assets held by the parent company, the Embracer Group, and freelance designers just dying to take advantage of them.
Okay.
Okay, and I actually saw them just recently. It was yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, where the person in charge of this, Brian, I forgot his last name. He put out a post like, "Hey, we're looking for this, and this type of game. You want to do it? Let us know."
Okay.
Okay, so they'll have the intellectual property and the need for something,
Right.
and they reach out for people to fill those spots, to
Independent
design
designers.
those things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
we have some games. The first 3 titles are in development. Word Traveler. This is from the crypto designer Thomas DL. I'm going to abbreviate his last name because there's
Okay.
no way I can pronounce that.
All right.
You're moving through the world cities by using a limited number of words to see the sights. And then you have to figure out where on Earth the active player is going. Where in the world is Word Traveler? All right.
Okay.
Then Rivers of Gold. This is from Keith Piggott, designer of Drawn to Adventure. Oh, I like Drawn to Adventure.
Yeah, I do.
That's a Euro title that's using the Legend of the Five Rings IP.
Oh.
And
Wow.
you're building stuff next to a river. And then Crafting from Cosmos. This is from designers David Gordon and Tam. Tam, why do I know that name? T-A-M, capital.
Don't know.
It's a universe building title. You're using the forces of the universe, time, ionization, light, and gravity to build nebula and foster life with city building, engine building, and worker placement. All these games are coming out in 2024.
Okay.
So,
Wow. All right.
none of these. We're talking about IPs. The only IP mentioned is Legends of Five Rings, which is an internal IP.
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, I think that's what they're saying. I think that's what this is.
The Embracer
Asmodee
Group.
now has access to a bunch of intellectual properties
Right.
Oh, I
that
see.
might be dormant, and they are going, let's use it.
Right.
We want to make a game that is this type with this IP.
Yeah.
Who wants to fill this gap? So that's, yeah, it's a mediator, sort of that seems to be its role.
Yeah, I
This
think
office
so.
dog.
Okay.
All right.
I have an open mind towards this. We'll just wait and
Sure.
see.
I don't know if I would like working for a company called Office Dog.
No?
Hey, you're the new office dog. Welcome.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's your water dish.
You're an office puppy first, though. All right. Diamond Dogs. All right. WizKids is partnering with Korean Board Games to bring the Prince of Florence. We have this copy of the game actually in the
Yeah.
library. The Korean Board Games.
Korean Board Games,
It looks
yeah.
like they're just basically putting a WizKids logo on. Wise move, because Korean Board Games makes good quality games.
They really do, and they've added some nice little things to this. There are a couple of changes to the game, but it looks really nice. And I almost picked up a copy at Gen Con, but it was too big of a box to bring back. So we have one for the
You mean
library.
Essen?
Essen, thank you.
As we're like Gen Con.
Yeah, no, they were at Essen, but yeah, I was very intrigued by this.
Now, I think The Prince of Florence is a dated game and isn't as good today as it used to be.
Okay.
There are many people who think otherwise and really like this game. It was once number 2 on Board Game Geek.
Wow.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. Also, it looks way better than it used to look. It was all beige.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. This next game isn't beige at all. It's about a party we're having at Dice Tower. Blob Party.
Blob party.
Want to be part of the Blob Party?
I want to be known as an office dog again.
All right.
We're going to just go down.
Horrible, yeah.
I'm trying to make you appreciate your office dog.
Office blob.
Office Blob. This is a co-op game. for 4 to 8 players. Looks like it's sponsored by Crayola.
Yeah.
Frankly, that really looks like a Crayola
Splatoon or
crayon
something.
box almost.
Yeah.
You start with a small blob of dough and a googly eye.
Okay.
Oh, this is an actual thing. Zev definitely designed this game.
Yeah.
As you match with more and more other players, you merge blobs, growing larger and adding more googly eyes. So let's say the group starts with the category music and the word is lightning.
Okay.
So what would you write on a card if the category was music and the word is lightning?
Greased.
Grease. They also put Bohemian Rhapsody. Very, very
I was
frightening.
going to say Queen. Yeah.
Okay.
So
David Bowie. What's David Bowie do with lightning?
Light.
He had a lightning bolt on his face, and then one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, you reveal your answers, and if you wrote the same thing, you're now a blob and working together for the rest of the game.
Oh, okay.
okay.
And eventually, hopefully, everyone gives the same answer, becoming a mega blob and winning the game.
Mega blob.
So I like that concept, but it feels like a one-time concept. Like, oh, we had fun
Yeah.
playing that, now let's put it away and never play it again.
I wonder if once you blob up, you can't split again.
Yeah.
You can't. I think it's co-op.
Yeah.
So when you're all together, you're trying to do it as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it sounds fun to mess with Play-Doh.
It sounds like the Play-Doh and googly eyes, though, is a complete
Gimmick. It's
superfluous
like,
thing that doesn't even need to be in the
100%.
game.
Yeah.
Also from WizKids, and they're really like going all over the place in how their games look. So this looks completely different than Blob Party.
Yeah, it does.
Americana. That might be the newest big theme. You know,
Yeah.
we talk about nature.
Right.
But I think Americana is that thing. Go across national parks.
Yeah.
Trekking across
Parks.
America.
Yeah, that's true.
This is from Dan Manfredini. Why do I know that
That
name?
name sounds familiar, yeah.
Well, if I click this link,
Yeah.
oops, I need to
Oh my goodness.
erase my.
Search history.
He's a board game designer. He did a game called Far Space Foundry.
Okay, I've played that.
I did not like that, but you did. He also did Venture
was
Forth.
okay.
Venture Forth was okay. He did Monkey Lab. Monkey Lab was not good. Okay, and he did Island Siege, which I played a lot of his games, actually. All right. So, we'll see. You're traveling through the 1930s American wilderness. There's finding wildlife, going to new locations. And you decide how to interact with stuff to get memories for your journal.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like a large game on that table. It seems like there's a decent amount of moving parts.
I like that theme a lot. So
I like that look
That
a lot.
cover is really, really striking, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good font, the whole nine, yeah. And again, this isn't a weird thing where that logo is the one thing that's a little jarring. But it's not too bad.
The WizKids logo?
Yeah.
I like that they're color coding them to their covers
That's
at
true.
least.
That is true.
I think that looks good.
No, I did. Someone that's Dan Man. Did I mean Damien? No. His name is Dan. His last name is Manfredini. Sorry, Manfredini.
Okay.
Sorry, not Dan Man. That's a different name. All right.
Dan, man.
Giving you whiplash as we take a look at games. Now we're jumping to Block Burrito.
Woo! Expansion.
The expansion for Throw Burrito. So Throw Burrito is basically a game in which you are playing cards, and if you play the same card as someone else or something like that, you grab a burrito on the table and throw it at the other person. Or you have
Right,
a duel.
a
You'll take 3
foam
steps,
burrito.
turn around and throw a burrito. It's not
Right.
foam. It is foam. I think there's a stuffed version too, but you're right. It is a foamy.
The ones I've seen are sort of like that dense foam.
Yeah, okay.
My kids
Now.
enjoyed it, and they definitely were like, "Can we have a tortilla expansion?
A tortilla
I can
blocker.
block it." Mm-hmm. They are going to want to play this.
Block burrito, huh? Jeez. Okay.
I do like inflatable tortilla shields.
Oh, it's inflatable.
I don't-
Oh, I'm in.
All right. This next game, I think we might have some difference of opinions on here. Line dice.
Okay.
Because here's my thoughts on this. This is a game that came out in December 2022. I guess we must have missed it. But anyway, this looks like it is a roll and move, or a roll and move and right.
Okay.
A roll and right. I don't know. Here's the thing, though. If you're going to make one of these roll and move games, I'd rather your cover look like this than the 3 dice coming at the.
Well, sure, of
This
course.
is a solid looking. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
this
really-
was only 4 letters, I would guess it was from Next Move Games.
Yeah, it's classy looking.
It's got
That's what I'm
that
saying, I like this
Azul
cover.
look. Yeah.
Because if you're going to do dice,
Right.
Make your cover unique and interesting, not 4 dice thrown at the...
Thrown at you, yeah. It looks terrible. But this looks nice. Yeah, I don't know anything about the game. It looks like it's maybe came from Asia originally.
I thought you weren't because you groaned when you saw this.
No.
Maybe you were just groaning in old age.
I may have just been groaning from old age. Yes.
All right, fair
That's just,
Goodness.
always a possibility.
All right, continuing with our Whiplash. Now we're at Mountain 53. And we're like going from one extreme to another here.
Whoa.
This is an old game that's getting re-implemented.
Yeah, the original game was called Abenditone. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Abenditone.
I have a feeling
feel like
you'd
I'd know that.
I'd say you'd know
Carlo
it if you saw
A.
the cover.
Rossi, the design of it.
I think if you saw the cover,
Look up that
you'd
original
recognize
cover
it.
for me, Tom. You're Googling stuff. Go ahead and Google that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy's name is also the name of a wine.
Yeah, Carlo Rossi.
Oh, we did Divinity Derby, which I played. Dungeon Time. Arkham Horror, The Final Arrow.
The terrible
Arrow.
Arkham.
So what's the name of this game called again?
Off under Tobin or something. I don't remember.
What, you don't remember? Ob.
Ob?
But that is
Just type
Ob.
that into the thing, Tom.
You're right.
Come on, man.
I forgot the name of it already. Ob in Die.
Something
This is
in-
fascinating. You guys never thought you'd get to watch me Google. There's no way you played that game.
Never mind.
Wow, that game looks terrible.
Click the other one. The other cover. There's the same cover.
Oh boy.
No. Okay. I don't know this.
No
Never
idea.
mind.
Looks like you're throwing trash into a trash can, basically. Looks like a dexterity game.
Yeah, you're going to reveal some cards, and then you place them in a piece of garbage into the garbage can. Oh, so it's a plastic, it's a dexterity game.
Yeah.
You're playing cards, putting stuff in the garbage can, and I'm assuming you don't want the garbage can to overflow.
Okay.
It's like real life, where everyone's like trying to put a piece of garbage in,
last
because
one
if you
in.
can't put it in, then you have to empty the garbage, and
Right.
no one wants to do that.
Got
Correct.
it.
That's correct.
Except for the person who's next to the desk is next to the garbage
Then
can.
they're ready to
Mountain 53. That's an interesting title.
go. It is.
All right, we're sinking. A Pirate's Dilemma here is our next game. This is from Ludimus Games.
Let me guess, it's a social deduction game.
It's definitely, I think it's supposed to be like a prisoner's dilemma type
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
You are trying to repair your damaged ship by fighting off 4 different threats,
Oh, so it's pandemic.
but you want to fend off the enemy, but you also want to be the player with the fewest cards in your hand. So it looks like it is a semi-co-op, sounding that way.
Pandemic.
Yeah, right. Anyway, this is coming out, I guess, later this year.
I like the cover. I like that artwork.
I don't know how I
Hopefully.
feel about it, actually.
Hopefully there's a lot of this artwork. Also, what's in those baskets over there by the tentacle? I'm confused.
Ooh.
Gumballs.
Got it.
I think it's jewels, but it definitely looks like gumballs.
It looks like
does.
those little balls that become dehydrated and you rehydrate.
Orbeez.
Orbeez?
Orbeez, is that what that is? That's what that looks like.
Gosh, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Orbeez are like tiny little beads, and if you put water in, they expand. They look like They look like the bubbles in
Boba?
Boba. Yeah.
boba tea. Yeah.
Yeah, but what are they for?
Well, the only way an adult would use them
Is
is
to make a TikTok.
well, there's that too.
Gosh, I'm so...
No, but there's foot massage machines that use them.
Oh.
And you film and your feet are like in these.
Oh my gosh, all right. This
I've
is a
done
whole
that.
new world.
It doesn't
I've
feel.
never even...
But kids like them because look, and they're also using some air fresheners.
Okay.
That's
Gosh.
Like you can use them in like airsoft type guns to like shoot.
This is a whole universe I
your
was
eyes have
completely
just been
unaware of.
opened.
Also,
I aged out of it, Mike.
the most popular YouTuber on the internet, Mr. Beast.
I've heard of him.
This was his first big video that he did. He filled an entire pool with them.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And then he drowned.
Now he gives out free cars, but I haven't seen him show up in our neighborhood yet. I keep looking. I'm like, where's the free car?
Yeah, right.
All right. Nervose. This is a new game coming out. It's a real-time puzzle analysis game. I'm in.
It's from the designer of a bunch of those trick-taking games, Taiki
Really?
Shinzawa, yeah.
That cover, that description, those colors, no.
Is that like a Greek
We're
font almost?
sinking. Nervos, yeah.
Yeah, it
looks
looks
like
a little bit like it, right? And there's also like tetramino pieces up there.
So what's going to happen is we flip a puzzle card over, Everyone is mentally analyzing the card to see which shape is not needed to complete the puzzle. Then you'll grab that piece off the table.
I just got a stomach
Then
ache.
you have a few seconds to show that you're correct by constructing the puzzle with the remaining pieces.
Oh my goodness.
I would play this, and I'd be like, who wants to play this? And the dice would be like super quiet, and people are like, I'm working.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make you happier by taking a look at a new game from DeVere, Blind Business.
That's what I'm talking about. Beat that donkey.
Which definitely has a Cuphead vibe to
definitely
it.
does.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does. That's cute. The devil's peeking.
He is peeking. And the avocado.
That avocado is demonic. Look at that. Wow.
Anyway, there's a 10-foot donkey-shaped pinata. It's the mascot and symbol of the town. The mayor has announced the contest to take down Ricky. So I guess you're killing the mascot?
Ricky is the donkey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of their small box games, I think.
Yeah, you're
it looks
offering
like
someone
it.
a card, and they can refuse it.
Oh,
It's a
so it's one
little
of
cockroach
those.
poker type thing.
Oh my gosh. Ricky the donkey. I am all over this.
All right. In Rio Grande expansion news, Race for the Galaxy has a new expansion called Xeno Invasion. I love Race for the Galaxy, and if you showed me this cover, I would have said this already came out.
Now, this one did already come out, but there's an
it did.
expansion to this.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The new one is called Xeno Counter-Strike. I was going to make a joke that their expansions look the same.
Right.
This is the same. Okay,
This is
good.
the same, yes.
So this is a sequel to Xeno Invasion, and this concludes the third arc.
So confusing.
It is confusing. But the way it works is Rio Grande made Race for the Galaxy. Then they made 3 expansions,
That's the first arc.
and that's the first arc. They then made another expansion. They were like, "Don't you dare mix that with the first 3 expansions." I
that's
did,
a single-
and Tom Lemon showed up at my door and slapped me.
Wow.
I remember that. The second arc is a single expansion.
I think so.
And so this new one, this is the thing. The first arc, 3 expansions. Second arc, a single box expansion.
Third arc,
2 expansions.
Now, I will say this. Those first 3 expansions they got progressively worse, unfortunately, as we went through. But you can take good cards out of them, play with them. The second expansion is, like, forgotten. It's one of the worst expansions ever. Someday in the
Is that the
future...
walking around expansion?
Yes, it's like... In the future, we'll be doing our top 10 expansions. That didn't make my list. That being said, Xeno Invasion then kind of brought things around again. I thought this was a good little expansion. That I didn't think it needed another half to it, but I don't know. I love Race for the Galaxy, but I will say most of my Race for the Galaxy is playing with the base game.
Yeah.
Maybe the first expansion.
Yeah.
And it's been out for what I think came out in 2006 or something.
I would love for them to just reissue.
And I'm still enjoying it.
I know.
I just want them to reissue Race for the Galaxy at this point. With a new, I don't know, Race for the Galaxy 2.0. Where's that at?
I am worried about this, though, because it says it can be played by itself with just the base game. Though its 5th player, an optional Counter-Strike game, needs the first one. The Counter-Strike game begins as a Xeno Invasion, which, once they're repulsed, turns the tables to galactic empires and strike back at the Xeno home systems across the starry rift frontier and border zone. First of all, are you kidding me?
What does that even mean?
That means nothing. Race for the Galaxy is not, it's a cool space game, but the theme is,
It's just cards.
it's cards.
I think it's very thematic. You guys are both incredibly wrong. You got the yellow planets.
Yeah.
You got the other purpley planets, okay? You got the one with the little chromosome planets.
Yep.
In this version, tableau size no longer ends the game. The Counter-Strike game continues until there's an economic victory or you beat the Xenos. This is the Epic Conquest version of Race for the Galaxy. Final tableau size of 25 cards are not uncommon.
I'm out.
I really think I'm out there too, because tableau size is 12.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do I want to double the length of Race for the Galaxy?
Looking at all these cards I got to be dealing with. Nah.
I am going to try it, because Race for the Galaxy is one of my favorite games. But
right.
I do not have high hopes for this. Also, I don't think... I like Tom Lemon. He's one of the best designers I've ever played games from.
One of the best was ever slapped you.
He did not slap me. But I think he's one of the worst expansion designers for his own games.
Okay.
Almost always when he makes a game and then he designs an expansion for his game, the Race for the Galaxies, the Roll for the Galaxies.
I'll come to his defense a little bit and say that the Res Arcana
I
expansions
knew you were going to bring up the Res
are
Arcana
very
stuff.
good. I'm just saying the Res Arcana expansions are very good. I'm not disagreeing. How about the Race for the Galaxy stuff, especially that first cycle? The third in that first cycle was folly. Folly! You don't put rules in there that take up multiple pages for something that might happen 1 time out of 10 games. Folly!
All right. Our next game looks like it's a sequel to Merv.
It's in that same line, I think. It's yeah.
Wow, it really is too close.
Well, I think it's the same designer. It's definitely also Osprey.
Sankore, the Pride of Mansa Musa. Is that how you say it? Sankore?
I would assume Sankore.
I would think so. Yeah.
Sankore.
Wow, that's pretty.
Wow, playing time though is 150 to 180 minutes.
They're saying this might be like the heaviest game that
Ever.
Osprey has put out.
Oh!
Really?
I thought
even
I
more
thought
so
I read
than that
that.
5.
Oh, I don't know. The Crescent Moon. Yeah, I don't know.
Crescent Moon's pretty heavy.
I read that in there, but maybe not. I might just be making it up.
I love it when you make stuff up, Mike.
I do too.
It doesn't say, but
Okay. I might have read that on Twitter.
yeah.
Get off
Well,
Twitter,
then it's
Mike.
true.
Yes.
All right. The next game is from Simon, Classic Art, showing the girl with the earring, which apparently that picture is so good they made a whole movie about it, which I fell asleep during, which actually doesn't narrow that down, the movie. But wow, I couldn't believe they made a movie of this picture.
Of this painting.
Of this
Yeah.
painting, yeah.
Yeah,
What's her name? Black Widow.
Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, she was the girl with the earring.
Oh, really? So this is based on Scarlett Johansson? Oh, I might be interested now.
No, this is a Reiner Knizia game. It's a re-implementation of members only in Glenn's Gallery. Glenn's Gallery?
Yeah, that old
Wow.
auction game.
Okay, I'm looking that one
Go
up
ahead,
because
Google it. Google it some more.
I think they've made a couple little changes to it, but
I don't. When's the last I played? Oh, I never even played Glenn's Gallery. That's from Mayfair Games. Are you sure I didn't play it? I'm gonna see if I did a review on it. I did do a review on it. I never rated it.
It was 13 years ago, Tom.
I'm sure I gave it a 10.
All right,
Ranked
anyway.
16,527, and then it was re-implemented by Classic Art. Oh, duh. Okay.
Wow, you a dummy.
there you go.
I will
Actually-
say this: I'm surprised, but I'm also glad that Simon is still doing some of these things.
Yeah, I do too.
For a while, they had 1 year there where they were like, "Oh, we're not just a miniature company," and they just put out like
Wind Rider.
12 games
They did. I
that
really
were
remember
all
that.
these little things, weird little card games, strange. I mean, they came out with so many in 1 year.
Remember Looters?
Yeah, I mean, they had so much stuff, and then backed off. It seemed.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they still will do this
Yeah.
a little bit. So this is very nice.
This is really close to being out. I know this because we got one.
Oh, we got one.
Well, we almost got one. It's at the old house.
Oh, jeez.
So
Okay.
we will hopefully get it.
Okay.
Unless my neighbors are like, oh, let's play this
Oh,
game.
Ooh, classic art.
Can meet you.
All right. In the biggest leaked news I've ever seen in a long time,
Yeah,
The
right.
Lost Ruins of Arnak has another expansion. I kept getting emails that said embargo, and I kept seeing it mentioned all over the internet.
Yeah.
Also, is anyone surprised by this?
Not even a little bit.
The missing expedition here. Although they're behind Dune and
They are now,
Dune Imperium
yeah.
second expansion came out. Anyway, this one, the first expansion, Expedition Leaders, very popular.
Yep.
In fact, many people won't play the base game without it.
Okay.
This one here, you can play it with the other expansion. There's 2 new leaders, new paths, and 2 new research tracks, new artifacts, items, and assistants. It sounds like it's just more stuff.
I think it's more stuff, yeah.
That's good. More
Yeah.
stuff is good.
Cool. Looks good.
People that like it are going to be all over it.
Gen Con, folks. Gen Con. All right. Century Spice Road has a big box coming. Now, that's not a surprise because every game in existence has a
Yes.
big box.
Yeah.
That being said, I did fit everything for Century in one box. It was a tight fit.
When you say Century, everything for Century, you mean all 3 games?
All 3 games.
In one box of Century?
It was a tight squeeze, but I got it done.
Wow, I don't know, Tom. That doesn't sound right. You need the big box.
Well, the big box is going to add some more stuff because why would they not?
Sure, of course.
What's in
It's
it?
going to include all 3 of the games.
Okay, so far so good.
Every bonus card printed to date.
Hello.
Quick seller promos. An exclusive location board for Century New World, only previously available on the Board Game Geek web store.
Bam.
Okay.
New dual-layer caravan boards. That I like.
Done. Mike is all over
caravan
this.
boards.
Yeah, but are they as good as my three-dimensional wagons I have? Those are really cool.
Those are nice.
Actually, I have those monuments from all over the world. Remember, like the pyramids?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, Tom.
I've already been here, Plan B. But also, a new mini expansion called the Golden Deals.
Oh, boy.
That comes with clear card sleeves that add more options.
Oh,
it's
boy.
actually taking a little bit, I saw these, it's stealing a little bit of John D. Clare's.
Yeah, the
What?
card
I know,
crafting.
it's weird.
Really? That's a thing now? I might need the Century Big
You
Box.
need this.
No, here's the good news, and this I give them credit for. That Golden Deals mini expansion you can buy separately.
Oh, man.
You don't need this.
I don't know that I would want to get this, actually. I like the Century games. I like that they can be mixed together. I don't know if I want a big box. Of course, I'm kind of fading on big boxes in general.
I'd like to see how big this big box is. If
That's
it
true,
still
that's
fits
fair.
in a couch.
Tell you, that picture makes it look like the Carcassonne big box size.
Yeah.
It really does.
I hope not. I hope it's not that enormous.
Right.
I will say I don't have any of the Century games, so this is pretty good if you're
Yeah.
like me and don't have
Well, I
any
wonder,
of them.
does this come with all the games?
Well, what do
Said
you
all
mean?
three,
You just
right?
said that. It better come with all of them.
It does. Well, I'm double checking because some big boxes come with
Right.
space to put the three
Right,
games.
right,
You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Would you like me to pull out that Agricola
Yeah,
15th
yeah.
expansion box
Yeah.
piece of garbage?
All right, Century Big Box it is. Very cool.
All right, final piece of news. Steamforge is bringing Sea of Thieves to the tabletop. Steamforge, which basically, if you have a big giant IP, Steamforge is waiting around the corner like
A video game IP, that is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I cannot believe this has not been already made into a board game.
Yeah, this
has
is
been
very
around
big, and
for
it's been big
years.
for a while, and it's
Yes.
actually kept its.
I still play this with my
relevant.
son.
Yeah.
Like regularly. We still play Sea of Thieves. We'll
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here, I'm going to be a little dumb here. I don't know what it is.
It's a sandboxy type of a game. It's you play as pirates and you can upgrade ships and you just go on quests and try to.
Is it available for the Steam Deck?
I think you would
It's
like it,
Xbox
Tom.
exclusive, I want to say.
Oh, I think it is Xbox exclusive. Yeah.
This is owned, but this is Rare makes this, and
Right.
Rare is now owned by Xbox. So
I will never play it then.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I played a little bit. I played maybe half an hour, Mike. And it's hard to play alone. That's the
It
thing,
is,
right?
yes, yeah.
So I was kind of messing with it, but on my own, I downloaded it and messed
Yeah.
with it, and it's very cool. Like when you begin, they put you on the ship. You're going through the waves, and it was like so immersive. In the
Oh, yeah.
distance, there's a storm.
Yep.
There's like a creature over there, and I was like, I feel small.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's very cool.
immersive. Yeah, very cool looking, but clearly the way you're doing it is the way to do
Yeah,
it.
it's good to play. Yeah, with others.
I want to jump in there, Mike.
It says it's not Xbox exclusive.
Tell them it's family only.
Huh?
I thought it was
Jump in your
Xbox
game. Tell 'em
exclusive.
It's family
Oh,
only.
family only.
Yeah. So it's all about family.
Can I jump in there, Mike?
Delicio, Fast and Furious.
That's right. It's all about family.
Okay, you know what? Never mind.
We'll
You wanna
adopt
play?
you. We'll adopt you.
You and I will do it. PC. It's on PC as well.
Oh,
So then maybe it is on the Steam Deck.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I think you'd dig it.
All right. Well, that's the news, folks.
PC.
Whoops, wrong one.
All right. Today, for our top three, we're talking about our top three favorite, and I'm going to say favorite,
Yes. Video game consoles.
video game consoles. And I say
PC.
favorite because we're not saying, well, PC's a legit one to say.
Exclusive.
We're not saying they're the best necessarily because then we would
Absolutely
just have to
not.
list the latest generation
Right.
stuff.
Of course, right. Our favorites, as in, I mean, the way I did it is the stuff I've played a lot of, I have nostalgia for, the stuff I remember specific games in, you know what I mean? That's kind of the way I tackled it, you know, what specifically speaks to me.
Yep.
Well, then start us off here. What do you
Oh,
got?
I don't want to. No. All right, my number 3 is the OG for me, Sega Genesis.
Okay.
I never had a Nintendo console. I never had a Super Nintendo.
I never had a Nintendo.
And so my 16-bit one was, my first console was a Genesis. And I just remember having a blast with it. Genesis had a lot
What's
of good
the
stuff.
definitive game for you? Is it Sonic?
Sonic was good. There was a lot of weird stuff on Genesis. Nintendo had like a lot of the established big names.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl, Vector Man was cool.
Wasn't it like the Golden
Earthworm
Axe?
Jim.
Earthworm Jim, huh?
The Golden Axe or something like that?
Golden Axe is really old and
Yeah.
columns. I remember you would get the Golden Axe columns.
Right, yeah.
Like they would bundle those things together. But the one I played a lot on there actually was probably one of the most played ones was Aladdin.
Yeah, the Disney. Yeah.
The Aladdin.
That was really good.
Yeah,
The Jungle Book was good too.
I never played that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Genesis was a solid console. I really enjoyed it again. It was clearly, I seem to remember, like the kids I knew that had the Super Nintendo, they were the cool kids.
Right.
And like the Genesis, you were definitely more like, oh, you can't play Zelda, you can't play Mario, you can't play all that stuff.
I really think, though, the wars that are online now
Yeah.
were definitely in the kids. Because I'd be like, oh, Nintendo. And the kid who owned a Sega Genesis would be like, you play
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah, there was
Sega
definitely-
Genesis games are so much better, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
I wonder who won. Anyway,
So yeah, for me, 3
Sonic
Genesis.
now shows up paying respects to Mario and his games.
It's true. It really is like that. That's my number 3, the Genesis. Good old 16-bit Genesis.
All right, what do you got, Mike?
I'm loving what people are putting on here. My number 3 is the most recent one, and it's the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
I love that console. I think it's great. I like the fact that I played it just as much handheld as I have on the TV.
Wow.
And I don't play it as much as these other games that I'll be talking about. But if I'm going to play a video game now, it's going to be generally on the Switch, unless I'm playing Sea of Thieves with my son.
Which is on the Xbox.
Which is on the Xbox, yes.
Exclusive.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that the Switch was a system that had so much hype. Right, remember when it first came out?
I do
how
remember
hard
when it
was to
first
get hold
came
of it. But it actually fulfilled that hype. Like Nintendo, when they're on, they really are hard to beat when it comes to this. They know what they're doing. You know.
Well, I will take your Nintendo then.
Okay.
My number 3 is the OG Game Boy.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You said I can pick new stuff.
Yeah.
The Game Boy, the black and white one. Well, Roy always talks about how he played it in streetlights on the car on the way home. I wasn't allowed to have one, so I borrowed my neighbor's and hid it in my house. Played it for many days.
Yeah.
Man, I love the Game Boy. The idea of a portable system. The first time you could connect two together and play Tetris against somebody else, that head-to-head
yeah.
matchup was so cool.
Yep.
Super Mario, which was a weird version of Super Mario. Final Fantasy 2 was still for the Game Boy, still one of my favorite games ever. I played a lot of that. I just love that system a lot. When the Color came out, I never played much of that. Game Boy Advance was cool, but the Game Boy,
The original OG.
the original Game Boy was just mind blowing.
The original one was not backlit, right?
No.
Right.
It was not,
Yeah. Oof.
and it
old
went
school.
through batteries.
Oh
You had to
gosh.
That was a
Yes.
pain in the neck. Like you're about to win, and the batteries go out, and you lost it.
Yeah, you're just
it was
done.
gone. So frustrating.
All right. My number 2 is going to be the Xbox 360.
Oh.
I debated on which Xbox to put on here, okay? I kind of toss them up. Xbox, the original Xbox, 360. I play a lot, mostly Xbox One now. I don't have any of the new stuff.
What's the newest one?
Xbox Series X.
They're more confusing than the other ones.
Very, very much
Yes,
so, yes.
they are.
Okay.
The Xbox Series is technically the new one. X is the fancy. S is the garbage one. Nobody wants that. And then,
Is that like an iPhone S?
yeah, basically. It's really
yeah.
like the one that has no disk drive and the graphics are worse.
Yeah.
Then Xbox One, which is what I've got now, and I played a lot of that, but I went 360 because a lot of experiences I had on that console have been some of my favorite video game experiences, and it was just I mean, the stuff that was on there, Fallout 3, which is probably my favorite video game ever. I played the snot out of that on 360. A lot of RPGs were on 360, and it's kind of my go-to game type now, game genre. So everything on there. I almost took Xbox, like I said, because there were a lot of good RPGs on there as well. But the 360, man, there were so many, again, kind of formative experiences on there for me. And the graphics leap, I almost feel like the 360 is where I stopped noticing the big jumps. Maybe that's a getting old thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
But at 360, I'm like done. Anything, like 360 looks amazing. And past that, I'm just like, yeah, it still looks amazing.
You're probably right. Like, I have the PS5 now, and you're like, what's the difference between that and the PS4? I'm like, I don't know. It's better. I'm sure it is. And I'm sure if you went backwards, you would notice.
Sure, I guess so. But at that point, I'm like, it looks great. Everything above that, it still looks great. I'm done there. You go behind that, go below that you can tell. So yeah.
All right, now we show the age. All right,
Here we go.
my next two are
3DO.
definitely not new. My number 2 is
2600.
the Commodore 64.
Tie. That's also my number 2.
I've never had that. I don't know what that even is.
It was an actual PC. You could code in BASIC. You can code in Commodore BASIC,
Which I did.
I used to buy magazines, right? I used to buy magazines.
You're right. You could. And anyway,
you would type them in machine code, Z, and it would just be numbers, straight up pages and pages of numbers you're typing in. You miss one number, it does not load. You have to go through line by line by line to find where you put a 1 instead of a 0.
Fun.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I used to do that. I had a tape drive for it first, an actual cassette tape drive.
You had to play the cassette tape, and you had to play it.
Flip it.
You had to play it. I had to figure out you had to play it sometimes at maximum volume.
Yes.
To load a game.
Right.
Tunnels of Doom, which is still one of my favorite games. I had the tape for it in my office. Someone sent it to me in a little thing.
Yep, I had a tape drive, and then later I did get the disc drive, which was the floppy, the 5-inch floppy.
Actual floppy.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yep.
There was so many classic games for it.
So many great games.
Many of the great games you could play in the arcade were for the Commodore 64.
Yep.
And compared to once they got past the tape, there was a few games at the tape.
Sure.
Once you got past that, there was so many games that just loaded like this.
They loaded much better, yeah. And then I eventually had a friend that had the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga, and I was very, very jealous because the graphics on that were much, much better. But I still have a lot of affection for my old school Commodore 64. I even bought one of those little mini emulators, that looks like
a Raspberry Pi type thing.
Yeah, it looks like a mini.
I should get. One of the games I loved was a game called Chomp, where you were a goldfish. You had to swim around and chew other goldfish, and then cat's paw would come in the goldfish bowl. It looks terrible now.
Yeah.
There was also Commodore 64 had a few like build your own RPG, build your own video games,
100%.
which took so much effort to build the dumbest of games.
They also had all those Sierra games and the Monkey Island and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this was like the first one that came to my mind. I love the Commodore 64. In fact, when the PCs came out, I was like, well, where's the next Commodore? They made a 128.
Yeah.
I don't need no PC. And the 128 was like a last gasp, but it was also not even really that big of a jump from the 64.
Yep.
It sounded like it would be twice as much, but what it was, I think, was like two 64s wired together or something like that.
Oh, yeah, it was odd.
It was better, but it wasn't like
That
twice
much
as good.
better,
It wasn't
right,
like
right,
16-bit compared to 8-bit. But yeah, man, I love
it, man.
I love that computer.
I do too.
I did not. Yeah, that one I've never played. I don't think I've heard that much about it. I've heard of Commodore 64, but I'm not familiar with it.
It was,
It was one of the first very affordable family computers.
Okay.
That's true.
I was able. My parents bought it for me and didn't cry about how expensive it was comparative. I think I got it for a couple $100.
Yeah.
And then getting games wasn't, you just passed them around.
You did,
And they
yeah.
worked. This was just before shareware and all that stuff. So
Right.
if you had a game, I could borrow your game and play it, and it wasn't a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number one, let me tell you about the actual good 64.
Nintendo?
The Nintendo 64.
Really? This wouldn't make my top 10.
Oh man, I have so many good memories of Nintendo 64. This was I had the Genesis before this. And again, it was kind of formative for me in video games, you know. It's kind of like that first console I had. But the Nintendo is the one where I have much more vivid memories of playing games I must have been in high school maybe, I don't know, and I remember getting on a bus, public transportation bus, and going to Toys R Us and getting games for the Nintendo 64. I still vividly remember going and buying like Wipeout 64, the sci-fi racing like F-Zero game, and like taking it in a bag on the bus home and like that kind of stuff.
What was the definitive game of that?
For me, my favorite game on N64 is Paper Mario.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's a good
Paper Mario is still
really
like top 5 games ever. Now, the most famous game, GoldenEye, probably.
Probably.
You know,
You're right. When that came out, that was all
that was like landscape changing stuff.
Well, Super Mario is still pretty landscape too.
Super Mario 64.
Because of 3D.
Yeah, that was very good.
Fox.
Smash Brothers.
I remember going to a Target, I think it was a Target, and playing Super Mario 64. Remember when they would set up the consoles and let you actually play on them?
And you had to wait for that annoying kid to move.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let me have a go. And I remember watching them and be like, this is insane. I mean, it's 3D.
Might as well be in an arcade, yeah.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. Nintendo Super Mario 64 is mind-blowing stuff.
My only thing about the 64, and the reason I wouldn't put it on my list, is I think it had a strong start and some great games, and it really petered out.
I think I'm controversial in that I don't love the controller.
Really? I thought that controller was fantastic. The three-prong thing was great.
Most people do. I didn't love it.
I did not love it either.
Yeah.
But I argued that it was good when I owned one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Right.
I eventually sold it to get an engagement ring. So there's that.
There you go.
Nostalgia.
Oh, you messed up. You should have kept the N64. N64 is really the
That
better.
would be funny. I'd be like, yes, that was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, don't you dare agree with me.
I regretted every moment of it.
Anyway, Nintendo 64, lots of platformers on there.
Yeah.
That was one genre that they just excelled at. No RPGs, you know.
And Superman 64, the best game ever.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, that's my number one.
My number one was easy for me because it was the first system that was kind of mine.
ColecoVision.
No. I had a friend that had ColecoVision. I was very jealous, but I had the Atari 2600. To me, the Atari 2600 had it, and it had such a wide variety at that time of games, and I just remember. I was fixated with it. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you get your first console and you're just like, you wake up, the first thought is, I want to go play Atari. I mean, I would go to bed dreaming of Atari. I'd wake up wanting to play Atari.
What was the game on that one for you?
Gosh, it's hard to say. It was probably one of those Activision games like Pitfall or something along those lines. And when those Activision games came out and they showed that system, which is a pretty limited system, technologically, they squeezed every ounce of processing power out of that machine.
It is pretty impressive. I don't know that modern games do that as much, right? Back then, they're like, oh, we only have this much area. We will use every bit of it.
Right,
yes,
man.
Yes.
I mean, and they really did. Some of those games that they were able to pull off on the 2600 are amazing to me. When I think of childhood video gaming, I spent hours on the Atari 2600, just hours, like, not sleeping type of a thing. So that was the age where I was like, 100% consumed with video games.
Yeah.
That was the one that I played. It didn't grab me like the 64 did. Well, we loved playing that tank versus tank where you would shoot the shots. A combat, right? Or the one where you were running from the police the whole time as criminals.
That was an Activision game. I can't remember what that was called.
And that stupid impossible burger building.
Oh, yeah.
Burger Time.
Burger Time. Oh my word, Burger Time is hard.
Burger Time was an arcade game first.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, a lot of arcade games.
Yeah, that's true.
Those games, those Atari games are so hard.
They are really.
They're so hard.
Because they're so short, generally.
They are, right. Because they can only put so much on there. Yeah, like the Atari version of, the 2600 version of Donkey Kong. First of all, it's terrible, but it was so hard. Donkey Kong would only move when you moved. Every step you took, Donkey Kong would So you can kind of like make Donkey Kong dance by how you moved as Mario. So
I'm going to go back and try that now.
Gotta do it.
All right, my number one is actually the most modern of my
There
picks.
it is. I figured you were gonna go with like a big hitter one.
Well, yeah, but I think it's my favorite system ever.
What is it?
And it's a crossover with Mike. It's the Switch.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I-
So not that new. Not that new.
yeah.
No, yeah, I guess it's not as new, but I'm telling you,
Switch is old.
The Switch is mind-blowing how
It is.
good it is.
It really
the fact that it's a great handheld system, and then you just
Yeah.
click it into that thing and it's on the TV.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. The Switch is also great for group play.
Yep.
Yes.
So good for that. That was started with the Wii, and I give the Wii a lot of credit
Me
for
too.
introducing
Yeah.
family. Like my wife never played video games before the Wii.
Yes,
Then we played
yes.
the Wii. I'm like, hey, we can go bowling.
I'm surprised none of us picked the Wii because the Wii is pretty revolutionary.
It is.
Stuff.
But that's because the Switch killed it for me.
That's me
But my
too.
favorite thing with the Switch, and this is what you were saying about the 64, you didn't like that controller? The Switch is my favorite controller ever because I can take those two
Yep.
and put them anywhere I want. I usually have one
Joy-Cons.
over here on the back and one like this, and that's how I'm playing a video game. Like this.
Yep.
No, but you can do that. And so, because when you do this, your hands
Yeah.
get clenched. Being able to move them around,
Right.
that's a big deal. And I'm always surprised that they sell so many Switch controllers that go back to that single one.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
what's wrong with the two?
Yeah.
Now, there is
Yeah.
the problem that Switch controllers break all the time.
They do,
They're
and they
constantly starting to drift.
Yeah.
That's I bought so many Switch controllers in my life. But I own like 4 Switches now because
Yeah.
it's also the kids' favorite system.
Sure.
They all love it. And Breath of the Wild, one of the greatest games ever made.
Yep.
Mario. The biggest problem with the Switch was it took a while for them to get those games going. At the
Yeah,
very
it
beginning,
did.
there was only a couple really. You were like, "We'll play Breath of the Wild," and
That's
whatever
my
else.
main issue with Nintendo consoles, and I have one on here. Okay, my favorite one. But their games are just not as. There's just not as many games that are good, I should say.
Well, once it's been out for the thing is
Yeah.
though, the long tail.
Right.
Yeah.
They're still making games for this. Like, I don't. Maybe the Switch will be replaced, but it's good, and then you can go back and play the older games.
Yeah.
Like the Switch now has a really good library.
That's a great library.
Like you can play a ton of games on it, but yeah, and I don't know. It's so the touch screen
Yep.
works well. It's hard to find much fault with it.
It really is.
I mean, I know it doesn't have the graphical power of the PS5
No,
and the
of course
newest
not.
Xbox. It doesn't, but the games are so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
So, all right. Well, those are our top 3. Our favorite consoles. Tell us what yours are in the comments. Live chat has definitely been saying that there.
Uh-huh.
Let's keep going.
All right, board game smorgasbord. It's me, Brian Drake, here talking from plate to table. Usually a time in which we talk about 3D printing and elements such as that. But first, I want to brainstorm or workshop a little bit with you, because sometimes 3D printing as a niche can be too niche. I think that's the proper way to use both those words, right? Sometimes we get pigeonholed into, well, shoot, I'm doing this segment every week or every 2 weeks when I get the footage to Z on time. How do I then interest enough people who are watching this who don't own 3D printers or are not interested in getting into it? So I thought what I'd do is brainstorm with you live here on air, live to tape. They're live, I'm live to tape. What are some things that elevate the game hobby community? Not really a word I like. It's more of a hobby which a community of people gather around, if that makes sense. What are some things you love to do to elevate your gaming? Now, you know from me, 3D printing is top of the list. Like, I've shown it many times before, but our Grand Austria Hotel, instead of using cubes, has little 3D printed wine glasses, strudel, and cakes, and whatever the last resource is. Strudel cake. Coffee. And little coffee cups. And I painted them. They look amazing, right? But some people don't want to 3D print. So think about like Zolkin. I've shown it before. I painted my Zolkin wheel and made it look like the wheel from, that you always see in places. Painting is another way. What are some things that you do to elevate your gaming? Is it maybe music? Like when we play, Mansions has its own background music, right? Mansions of Madness has its own background music. I personally like to, when I let my hair grow out a little bit on my beard, shave it into a Doc Holliday when I'm playing Western Legends. I'm your Huckleberry. Now I really hate him. You know what? We could spend the rest of this segment quoting Tombstone if you're okay with that. You just let me know, because that is one of the greatest movies of all time. He's quoting the Book of Revelation. Frederick Chopin. Anyway, lots of great quotes there. But what do you do when it comes to elevating your gaming? Painting is a big one for me. 3D printing is a big one for me. Music is a good one. Getting together with friends to play a game, that's something that gets overlooked, like excitingly planning a certain game to play. What are things that you do that really elevate your time in gaming? What do you do when you get a new game and go, okay, this is it, man. This is our game. We love this game. How do you enhance that? So let me know in the comments in the live chat here, what do you do when it comes to enhancing your games? Because I've given you a lot of ideas. And what I want to do is take from those ideas things that we can do in From Plate to Table that isn't just strictly 3D printing, but that is about elevating gaming and making it more just fun and accessible, where people walk past your copy of a game, they go, what in the world? I want that, or I want to do that, or I want to eat that snack that's shaped like Catan or Catan. You know what I'm saying? So let me know in the comments below, what do you like to do when it comes to elevating your gaming? How do you do that? How do you make it better? What do you want to see? What do you wish you could see? So that is my segment today. A little bit of brainstorm time, just chatting with you here in the camera about elevating gaming. I think I've said it 15 times and the goal was 17. So elevating your gaming is all about elevating your gaming. So I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower with Board Game Smorgasbord. Boy, I still mess that up every time. But hope you're having a great time. This is a great show. Back to those guys and gals.
All right. I'm mad. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, I can tell you're
upset.
You're fuming.
I'm in a pretty good mood today, actually.
Oh, okay, all right. It's Friday.
Okay.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm going to the fair.
That's what it is.
That's it. Beaver tails for
Brains of
everyone.
fried
Fair
foods.
tonight.
Okay, so today we're talking about something that we often get told as reviewers. So I'll play a game, I don't like it, and people say, I don't know why you bother reviewing it. It's not your type of game. Like, you might say, I'm not a big fan of party games. And then I play a party game and like, I didn't really like this game. People are like, see, you shouldn't play party games. And that doesn't happen to me. I tend to like party games. But I'll play like maybe a big heavy Euro game.
Yeah.
First of all, those generalizations are often not true. Like, I'll play a Lacerda game, I don't like it. People are like, you don't like heavy Euro games. And I'm like, but I just played Hegemony.
Right.
And really like that. And that's a heavy Euro game.
Right.
But is that a legit thing? So let's say Mike says, I really hate dexterity games, but he plays one and then doesn't like it.
Right. No, it is not a legit thing.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I think that what we try to do, I think, I won't speak for you, I'll speak for myself, is, yes, explain what your tastes are and kind of what your proclivities and likes and dislikes are, generally speaking, as a gamer, but we're all the time being, surprised. I used to think, I don't really like hidden movement all that much, and then I found a bunch of hidden movement games I liked. And
Right.
so we'll use this shorthand. It's like, when I'm going to pick a game, I don't usually go towards the party games first. But, in the right situation, I'll play that. I don't understand why you have to only go in your lane. You know what I mean? That doesn't, I don't get that concept. If you know that I, as a gamer, don't particularly like party games and I review a party game, sure, you can take that into account. But I don't think that should just completely devalue my opinion.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, that's it. I'm giving you my opinion on something, right? Whether I've liked other things of this ilk before or not, shouldn't necessarily affect my opinion on this one experience. I'm avoiding ice cream, and then I try one and I like it. You shouldn't be like, well, or I don't like it, whatever. Like, well, you've really not had that many ice creams, or you haven't been having ice cream lately. It's like, well, that doesn't affect what I thought of this experience. Why would that influence that, I don't get that. This idea of you can only enjoy the things you've previously enjoyed, or you can only have an opinion on things that we as a consciousness are allowing you to have an opinion on. I get the one about liking only short games, which is, again, ridiculous. It's a gag, it's a joke, and yes, I played a lot of short games. I also play a lot of long games that I think people don't put together, It's a perception thing. You put out 3 negative reviews in a week, and suddenly you don't like anything, Tom.
Right.
You know, you do the opposite. Oh my gosh, the Dice Tower likes everything.
Now, I
That's
mean,
how that works.
for me, I want to be blown away. Like, I don't normally like this kind of game, and I play it. I do like it. I'm hoping for that kind of experience.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, I will say, you need to go in with the parameters of what you're playing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't play a party game and then come out of it saying, I don't know why there's not a solo variant.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Or I went into a war game there was a lot of shooting. You know, I'm kind of against
There's
war.
a lot of conflict in
I'm
this
like,
game.
well, maybe
Yeah.
that, you know, you got to be careful.
That's an expectation thing. Yeah.
Right.
And we actually do that already. So, for example, I think Cards Against Humanity is trash. And I don't think anything of that. So when a company sends me their Cards Against Humanity clone-esque game, or they tell me about it, I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I won't review that because I already know.
Yeah.
I do not, there's no possible surprise there.
Sure.
Same thing, we'll get a game from GMT that's rated 8 on the complexity
Sure,
scale or whatever.
sure.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't have to play this to know it's not my wheelhouse. But if I think there's a chance, I'll try it. If I think, and we do that every time. I'll be like, well, this is a war game, but it seems like it's a lighter one. It seems like it's easier to play. I'll give this a whirl. And then if I don't like it, I'm like, well, because there's other people like me who are also thinking, maybe I can play this.
Right.
And so that's why we do it. I want to push the boundaries a little bit to see if I'll find something I like.
Sure. Well, I guess sometimes we'll see comments of, you know, there'll be a review that goes up and there'll be a comment, well, why didn't X, Y, or Z review this game? This seems more like their type of game. Is that necessarily a more valuable viewpoint? I mean, I don't know. I mean, might not it be more valuable to hear from somebody that doesn't normally play these types of games?
100%.
What their experience was.
I do that when I watch a movie, read movie reviews.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, I normally hate comedies, but this was pretty funny. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think that you shouldn't, since it is opinion-based, the limiting factors make no sense to me.
We're also giving you, and this is a big part of what we do, an overview of that game. You know, I'm showing you what the game looks like, how the game operates. In a limited sense, you know, whatever we can fit into a fairly short review. And then I'll tell you my opinion, what I think of the game, what I found I liked or didn't like. If you think Z shouldn't go anywhere near this game, I don't care what he thinks about it. That's what the middle of that video is for. It's for you to look at that thing and go, when I finally get to my final thoughts, go, you're wrong about that. I just watched you do that and then you're wrong. That makes no sense. I disagree with you. Oh, you're saying it's not for anyone? It's clearly for me. Then fantastic. Then I was wrong and it's for you. And you should go and pick that game up and have a blast with it. That's why we do that part. That's why in the past I've had people suggest to me, you know, you should just skip the overview and just do the final thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. If I'm going to skip any part of it, it'll be the final thoughts. That's way less useful to you than the overview. Because you don't know all my tastes. You're trying to draw a parallel between my feelings and opinions and likes and dislikes to your own. That's nebulous at best. But if I show you what the game looks like, that's a fairly decent way to go. That looks interesting. I think I'll like that. And you know what? You're probably right.
All right, well, there you go. Short things. And that's the end of Board Game Smorgasbord. We have like I said, a top 5 that we record at Dice Tower West with okay audio, so keep that in mind. But if you want to see it, it's there. Of top 5 things we're tired of. People, things, foods. No, just things. Anyway, check that out. That's going to be airing at 2 as a premiere, so you can go in and chat with other people. And we'll see you all later. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delicio.
I'm Z Garcia.
Have fun playing video games. Woo!